How can I be a good role model for my son? That is a great question. It's come from Aaron Ferg underscored son, so I'm thinking of saying Ferguson. So thank you very much for the comment, and we appreciate it. And we're going to answer your question because we did last time. How can I be a good or a male role model for my daughter? My name is Craig Madden. Over this Tom Cockrell. We're Happy Man, Happy Home. We do these sort of videos, one question, two family men, to answer your questions that you can leave in the comments, or you can leave it in our DMs on Facebook. The links are down below and up above. I can't wait to answer this question for you.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you very much for the question. If you back home have a question that you want answered by us, then feel free to drop it in the comments below or go onto our social medias and you can DM us directly. If you want to remain anonymous, then just say, please don't say my name. We get it. We play the game here. And if at any point you do enjoy myself and Craig, then make sure you like it, sub it, love it. But let me go with this. How, Craig, are you a good role model for your son?
That is a very good question. As you know, I'm Craig Madden. I'm the stress relief coach for dads in the UK. And something I definitely changed within my life was adding traditional values with modern standards. So the problem that we have in male society at the moment for sons, young boys growing into manhood, and for men is that we are going, should we be more traditional or should we be more modern? And the problem is too modern has caused ruptures within the son and father relationships, and so has traditional values, although they have worked for many years. So what I started to do was implement both, which is being traditional at the same time as holding those modern standards. So what I mean by this is it's okay to communicate with your son. So if he is misbehaving, or if he does need some sort of direct punishment, or he needs like a change in his attitude, then yes, I do use my traditional father standards where I tell him, you've done wrong, do not do that. And I make sure that he knows that he's done wrong. And I bring him up to be a gentleman, to be chivalrous towards women, to be loving towards women, to be almost traditional in those standards that we should treat women like princesses and show them love, and to also be strong and be ready to provide, to be security in the future. But also what I do, which I think works so well, and as I see that my son, I've got an 18-year-old as well that's doing well at the moment, I think it's because at the same time as having that modern standard as well, is being able to communicate with your son. Don't rapture him for crying because he's scared of a wasp, or he's scared of something, or he's hurt himself. In fact, explain to him, why are you showing that emotion? What is the reason for it? And the same goes for if, for instance, he is inquisitive or he's done something at school, communicate to him, actually teach him. The problem with traditional values is a little bit too much. Dads, you should just scowl at them, give them rules, walk away, and then the kid would be like, I actually don't know the output. All they would learn is discipline, which is great because most of the time they'd learn a lot more nurturing off mothers. Unfortunately, mothers have taken a massive step back away from being the typical mother that we once knew, and they've gone into more work. Therefore, the man needs to step into certain scenarios as well. And communicating, showing compassion and love to that son can treat him to grow up and be thing. And one point I will say to grow up and be a good man. And one thing I'll add on to that as well is the role model part. Show your son that it's okay that if you are struggling, that you show that you have struggled and how you overcome it as well, because then he will see, even though my dad was struggling, he's strong enough to admit it, but more importantly, he overcome it and he led his way back to his own victories.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, beautifully said there. I mean, what I did particularly love there was the communication. Now, when I'm talking to my clients, like I do obviously do empowerment coaching for husbands. A lot of them are fathers, and their fathers, and I think I'm going to go with probably 100%. I've not had a single client that's not said this, but they've been raised, to keep their emotions locked in and keep them together. You just sort of like, it is like a bit of the old fashioned way. And I was like, I agree with that to an extent, but that's where you then struggle to release it in a sensible way. That's where aggression and rage takes over. So I definitely love that communication about, explaining to him that you can talk to me, you can express your feelings, you're allowed to have these emotions, but here's how to handle them correctly. Because we've all got to handle our emotions correctly. Absolutely. Yeah, love that one. For myself, obviously, my youngest child is actually my son, so he's 10 years old at this point. And for me, the way I be the role model is I be exactly the man that I want him to be when he's older. Sort of like when we did the how to be a role model for your daughter. You be the man that you'd want your daughter to end up with later on in life. Well, it's sort of the same aspect. You want to be the man that your son will grow and aspire to be. He'll look at you. He'll look at you how you handle situations. He will adapt you. He will have your humor. He will be exactly like you. So if you're not a very good person, the chances are that unless your son gets some good self-awareness and goes, "Oh, I don't want to end up like him," then he will go down that road as well. So be the man that you want him to be. At the end of the day, it's do as I say, don't do as I do. Well, a lot of kids will do as you do, so you got to make sure you do as required. But yes, I do strongly believe in being that strong masculine man. You're gentle, you are loving to your wife, you are loving to your other children. You go out on the street, you treat people with the utmost respect. Your son will look at that and think, my dad's a nice guy. When he goes and talks to his other friends, if they're younger, and they say, "Oh, I love your dad. He's such a good guy," but you also have that firm discipline that when he does go off the rails, you steer him back on, you get him back onto the right track, because sometimes they can mingle in with bad crowds, they can sort of go a bit skew whiff if they haven't got the proper guidance. So guide them. You're the teacher, the father, the instructor of life, and that's a large responsibility to have, but it's one that I know you can definitely handle. So thank you very much. Any more points to add on, Craig?
No, to summarize, as me and Tom have just said, yes, of course, discipline is very important. Holding your son to a strong masculine trait for the future is very important, but also showing him the humanity as well in people. And like Tom said, going out, being nice to people, but also treating them with the complete conviction that they treat you. Your son will see not to take shit. Because let's face it, your son's going to have to deal with a lot of stuff when he gets older, society, bosses, jobs, colleagues, wives, kids as well at the same time. Can have a lot to deal with, so they have to be able to vent, but in a healthy way. So thank you very much for watching, because you want to make sure you do this, start putting these into action, start becoming that role model for your son so he can grow up well, because you will want to do that. Trust me, when you get to 70 or 80 years old, men get to that age. I'm not that at that age yet, but I can definitely say, I'm looking back at my life now, not thinking about my promotions, or not thinking about the money, or not thinking about what I did in work or my achievements, as much as that's still important. My major one is how my son's growing up, how my daughter's growing up, how my wife looks at me. They're the one things I'll always look back and remember. So, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. You have the power to make the change. If you're looking at it thinking, "Oh, I do not really do any of that," then it's not too late to make those changes. So make sure you put those changes. If you do need any more advice, please feel free to reach out for us. We are here to help. That's what we dedicate our lives to, helping that family man and that family home. So thank you very much for giving us your time. If you did enjoy this video, then make sure you leave the thumbs up button, hit the subscription and ring that notification bell as well. And thank you so much for watching this video, giving us your time, and bettering yourself and exploring the journey ahead of you. So thank you very much.
100%. And of course, at the same time, if you want to leave your question down below, just something that you're umming and ahhing about in the actual men's mental health world, then feel free to leave a question down below in the comments or in our DMs. And those places you can find in the YouTube video description or the bio. Or if you click on those links, you might find out what we do. I help stress men that are hardworking dads that just want to take that calm and present lifestyle and make it the norm. And Tom over here does empowerment coaching for husbands, where he helps husbands understand love and communication with the wife and how important it is to remain and maintain that family. So don't forget to leave those comments, because we want you to be a happy man
living in that happy home.